Nneka praying at night in her empty hut. A dimly lit traditional African hut with wooden walls, the shadows of moonlight creeping in through small windows. Nneka, a beautiful Igbo woman with a deep expression of sadness and hope, kneels on the ground, hands clasped in prayer. The room is simple, with a woven mat on the floor and a small clay pot beside her. The air is heavy with emotion, as a single tear rolls down her cheek, and she looks upward, pleading with God. Obinna comforting Nneka. An evening scene inside a humble African hut. Obinna, a tall, strong Igbo man with a loving expression, sits beside Nneka on a low bench. He holds her hand gently as she rests her head on his shoulder, eyes filled with silent sorrow. The soft glow of an oil lamp casts long shadows on the wall, creating an intimate and comforting atmosphere, with traditional African cloths and pottery visible in the background. 3. Nneka walking in the village with people whispering. A bustling African village in the afternoon with traditional thatched roof huts. Nneka walks through the dusty path, her face downcast, as a group of women stand in the background, whispering and casting judgmental glances. The scene captures the contrast between the lively village life and Nneka's isolation, with children playing in the distance and women carrying baskets on their heads, while Nneka's world feels heavy and slow. Mama Chinyere speaking to Nneka. An elder African woman, Mama Chinyere, with wrinkled skin and wise, piercing eyes, stands beside Nneka under the shadow of a large tree in the village. Mama Chinyere rests her hand on Nneka's shoulder, her face calm but full of understanding. Nneka looks at her with a mix of respect and longing, her face reflecting both hope and uncertainty. The background shows a typical African village with hot trees, and villagers going about their daily lives. 5. Nneka hearing the news of her pregnancy. Inside a modest African hut, Nneka collapses to her knees in overwhelming joy, her face covered in tears. The healer, an elderly African woman, stands before her with a knowing smile, holding traditional herbal tools. Light from the open window illuminates the moment, casting a golden glow on Nneka as she holds her belly in disbelief. The air is filled with a sense of relief and the miraculous, as joy radiates from Nneka's tear-streaked face. Obinna's joy at the news. A tender, emotional moment inside their home. Obinna stands at the entrance, eyes wide with disbelief and joy, as Nneka rushes toward him with excitement. The sun sets outside, casting warm orange light through the doorway. Obinna's face reflects his deep happiness, and Nneka, holding her belly, reaches out to embrace him. The simple furnishings of the hut create a warm, intimate atmosphere filled with hope. 7. Nneka's pregnancy journey in the village. A bright day in the village, Nneka walking proudly through the dusty streets with her visibly pregnant belly. Villagers, men and women, stop what they are doing to gaze at her with admiration and smiles. The scene captures a sense of celebration, with traditional African buildings in the background, colorful fabrics hanging on lines, and women carrying water on their heads. Nneka's face glows with contentment and peace as she walks confidently, no longer burdened by whispers. 8. Nneka giving birth and holding her baby. Inside a cozy hut, Nneka sits on a woven mat, cradling her newborn son in her arms. The soft glow of candlelight fills the room, and her face radiates pure joy and peace. The baby, swaddled in traditional cloth, sleeps peacefully in her arms. The healer and other village women stand nearby, smiling with pride and relief. The scene captures the warmth and beauty of motherhood, with traditional African decor adding to the feeling of celebration and new life. 9. The naming ceremony for Chimnadozie. An outdoor village celebration scene under the bright African sky. Nneka stands proudly in the center of a large gathering, holding her baby, Chimnadozie, wrapped in colorful traditional cloth. Villagers surround her, clapping, dancing, and singing in vibrant traditional attire. The background shows tall trees and thatched roof huts, and the air is filled with joy and celebration. Nneka's face beams with pride as she speaks, while Obinna stands beside her, his hand on her shoulder, smiling at their son. 10. Nneka speaking to the village, holding her child. A bright outdoor scene with Nneka standing at the front of the crowd, holding her newborn son in her arms. Her face is filled with peace and wisdom as she speaks, while the villagers gather around her, listening intently. The trees behind them sway in the gentle breeze, and a sense of deep emotion fills the air. Nneka's voice carries over the gathering, her words filled with faith and triumph as she shares her story of perseverance.